published a story, and in this case, they might have gotten it pretty correct. They said the campaign to impeach President Trump has begun. That was the headline.
What Trump really said to the Ukrainian leader. The Trump-Ukraine scandal is an ongoing political scandal in the United States. It revolves around efforts by U.S. President Donald Trump to coerce Ukraine and other foreign countries into providing damaging narratives about 2020 Democratic Party presidential candidate Joe Biden, as well as information relating to Russian interference in the 2016 United States elections. Today we are going to discuss different aspects of this scandal and let you know what impeachment is and can President Trump be removed from office because of this scandal. Welcome to Limitless. We bring you some of the most mind-blowing videos on various topics, from science to entertainment. If it is interesting, we've got it covered.
It was all about whistleblowers. You never hear, what happened to the whistleblower? They're gone. Because they've been discredited. What happened to the informant?
The scandal began when a whistleblower report revealed that Trump had asked Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in July 2019 to investigate Joe Biden, Trump's political opponent in the 2020 presidential election, as well as his son Hunter Biden and the company CrowdStrike, and to discuss these matters with Trump's personal attorney Rudy Giuliani and Attorney General William Barr. The allegations were confirmed by a non-verbal verbatim summary of the conversation released by the White House.
What happened? I want to find out who is the whistleblower. And because the whistleblower gave a lot of very incorrect information, including my call with the president of Ukraine, which was a perfect call.
According to the whistleblower, the call was a part of a wider campaign by Trump, his administration, and Giuliani to pressure Ukraine into investigating the Bidens, which may have included Trump's canceling a scheduled trip to Ukraine by Vice President Mike Pence and Trump withholding $400 million in military aid from Ukraine. Immediately after the Trump-Zelensky call ended, White House national security aides discussed their deep concerns, with at least one National Security Council (NCS) official alerting White House national security lawyers. Records of the Trump-Zelensky call were moved from the system where presidential call transcripts are typically stored to a system reserved for the government's most sensitive secrets. The Trump administration had also similarly restricted access to records of Trump's conversations with the leaders of China, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and Australia. It was subsequently revealed that this placement was made for political rather than national security reasons, which are the only valid reasons to use such a server. The first whistleblower complaint was filed on August 12, 2019, reportedly by a CIA officer detailed to the White House. It was based both on direct knowledge of certain alleged conduct and on the accounts of more than half a dozen U.S. officials. The complaint was eventually released to congressional intelligence committees on September 25, 2019, and a redacted version of the complaint was made public the next day. The whistleblower's complaint prompted a referral to the Department of Justice Criminal Division. On October 3rd, after Trump publicly called for China and Ukraine to investigate Joe and Hunter Biden, Federal Election Commission FEC Chair Ellen Weintraub reiterated that it is illegal for any person to solicit, attempt, or receive anything of value from a foreign national in connection with a U.S. election.
Mr. President, do you think you're going to get impeached?
Well, I shouldn't be. In fact, I thought last night it ended because last night I was in Louisiana where we're going to hopefully elect a great governor, Republican governor, and I was getting off the plane and they handed me a statement that was just made by the foreign minister and president of the Ukraine. And Ukraine, they came out loud and clear that there was no linkage whatsoever, not even a little bit.
Trump has denied all wrongdoing. He confirmed that he had withheld aid from Ukraine while offering contradicting reasons for doing so. He first claimed it was withheld because of corruption in Ukraine, but later said it was because other nations, including those in Europe, were not contributing enough aid to Ukraine.
is that Europe has to put up money for Ukraine also. Why is it only the United States putting up the money? And by the way, we paid that money. But I always ask, why aren't other countries, in Europe especially, putting up money for Ukraine?
In a July 25, 2019 phone call, Trump asked Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to investigate matters related to Hunter Biden. Before this scandal came to light, U.S. President Donald Trump indicated he would accept foreign intelligence on his political rivals. In June 2019, Trump was interviewed by George Stephanopoulos, who asked, if foreigners, if Russia, if China, if someone else offers you information on an opponent, should they accept it or should they call the FBI? Trump responded, I think maybe you do both. I think you might want to listen. I don't. There's nothing wrong with listening. If somebody called from a country, Norway, we have information on your opponent. Oh, I think I'd want to hear it. After Trump said this, the chair of the Federal Election Commission reminded Americans that according to federal law, it is illegal for any person to solicit, attempt, or receive anything of value from a foreign national in connection with a U.S. election. Previously, in July 2016, while Trump was still a candidate in the 2016 United States presidential election, he made a request. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing from fellow presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's email server. The Democratic Party is planning to hold an inquiry into whether President Donald Trump should be impeached over his contacts with Ukraine about the former Vice President Joe Biden. There were some calls for his impeachment during the years-long Russia inquiry, but this time House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has gone further and set up a group to look into it. Legal scholars suggest presidents cannot be prosecuted while in office, so the only way he could be removed from the job would be by impeachment. But just how does that happen? And exactly who has been impeached in the past? The answer may surprise you. What is impeachment anyway? In this context, to impeach means to bring charges in Congress which will form the basis for a trial. The U.S. Constitution states a president shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, and other high crimes or misdemeanors. The process of impeachment has to be started by the House of Representatives and only needs a simple majority to pass. The trial will be held in the Senate. But here, a 2/3 vote is necessary for removal, and this milestone has never been reached in America's history. Who actually has been impeached? Despite it being threatened on numerous occasions, only 2 presidents have ever actually been impeached. Most recently, Bill Clinton, the 42nd President of the United States, found himself impeached on the grounds of perjury in front of a grand jury and obstruction of justice, after he lied about the nature of his affair with Monica Lewinsky and then allegedly asked her to lie about it as well. The second? Clue. It wasn't Richard Nixon. In fact, the only other president impeached was Andrew Johnson, who served for 4 years from 1865, the 17th person to hold the role. He was impeached by the House in 1868. The vote came just 11 days after he got rid of Edwin Stanton, his Secretary of War, a man who didn't agree with his policies. So, could Mr. Trump be impeached? After the rapid drumbeat of new revelations about Mr. Trump's contacts with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, now even middle-of-the-road politicians are coming out in favor of impeachment proceedings. The dam is broken. The genie is out of the bottle. Pick your metaphor. The simple fact is that Miss Pelosi, who is a keen judge of the political mood within her caucus, has made the decision to shift from resisting impeachment to being open to it. Say Trump is impeached. Would he be removed from office? Well, Republicans control the Senate, so Mr. Trump would not be removed from office unless members of his own party turned on him. The vast majority of Republicans have remained loyal to him. But it looks like Mr. Trump would remain in the White House thanks to his support among Republicans. In the wider public, the president remains unpopular, but the appetite for impeachment is low. Do you have any mind-boggling questions that you would like answered? If yes, tell us in the comments section below and we will try to answer the most liked questions in our next videos. Or perhaps you've learned something new or interesting from this video. Then subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get notified on such awesome videos regularly.